Chat, don't forget, we of course have the Twitch drops that are going to be starting on June 10th. It's going to be the Bellum event. Let me just quickly remind you, all of these skins here, get a good look at all of that, and 2 generic drops. We of course have those double doors there. I've got the link there, readily prepared. Don't forget that that has transparency, it glows in the dark, and you just need to watch 4 hours of a Rust stream, and you basically get that for free. And hopping back over to here, with the likes of this tempered sheet metal double door, after today, you know, if I could just quickly go over to here, yeah, that did just over 9,000 subscribers after the first 24 hours of sales. Will that potentially end up at? Well, if we were to compare to like the previous week, we had the likes of the Volcano Furnace right there, and well, that did 8,600 subscribers. Maybe that's the best thing we could compare to. So if I could just quickly go back to the previous week, where did that end up at? That did just over 21,000 subscribers. Will we see something very similar with the likes of the tempered sheet metal double door? Or will the existence of this appearing as of Monday, will that potentially cause it to slow down? But then we also do remind ourselves with the likes of what happened 2 weeks ago when we had Rust Kingdoms, we didn't see the garage door slow down, did we? We didn't see the training jacket slow down, did we? No. And why do I bring that up? Well, we had the anime garage door and we had the K Katamina jacket. But it didn't seem to stop it. So that's just something you might want to be concerned about. We'll see how things turn out by Wednesday. Remember, it's usually smarter to wait it out and then look at all the skins Wednesday night, then make a consideration after doing the abnormal barders. And speaking of concerns, have you seen the state of the Neon Small med storage? So, back over to here real quickly. After the first 24 hours of sales, that did over 25,000 subscribers. Now you might be sitting there and saying, is that a lot? Well, if we just can quickly remind ourselves of the recent small storages we've had, small neon storages that is, yeah, we had just over 18,000 for the food storage with the previous week, and before that, we had the fuel storage with just over 20,000 subscribers. Now, let me just get this point across. That is still ridiculous. That is still ridiculous, and that's just straight up absurd. Why has this happened? Well, people feel really confident now with the momentum that the small neon storages have. So I guess we're going to have a yapping session going over this now. So let's just get the point across and explain what's likely going to happen from here and now and what potential problems might be occurring in the future. So yesterday we had the small neon meds being accepted, and that's kind of put us in a position where we truly believe we're going to get a batch of these. Not just 3, maybe up to 6, maybe up to 10, something between that. 6 to 10 was my rough estimate. And, well, that's perfectly fine. A supplementary extra sort of DLC for what was the Neon Storage Collection. All of these original large boxes came out 3 years ago, back in 2021, and randomly this year we got the fuel storage. Following that, we got the food, and following that, we got the meds. We are now feeling truly confident that we are definitely going to see more. No matter what Duck puts out, so as long as it's another neon storage, neon small box that is, yeah, things are still going to stay strong. Because currently both of these are perfectly in the positive. Or are they? So, of course, we have the fuel storage first. That is comfortably sitting there at $2.43 of its lowest listing. Barter's pushing up to $2. In theory, that looks great, because that sold for $1.49. That's like an easy instant profit, right? Well, lots of people thought about that, and they bought a whole bunch of those food storages the previous week, didn't they? Here's what it looks like with the food storage, and you might notice a bit of a problem. Wait. Do you notice it? Do you notice the problem? Let's just look back over here one more time. This has very small quantities, low listings, comfortable, doesn't look like it has any issues, very thin. It could easily rise up in price if people truly wanted to buy them out. And then I look over to here, this has even more listings, and it has big fat walls, it has big resistance. What's going on? Well, loads of people must have thought, oh yeah, this is going to be perfectly fine. I can just buy them and make an instant flip profit the very next week. And unfortunately, people are competing with each other, and the price is starting to go down a fair bit. Let's also just quickly point out to you that the likes of the fuel storage, yeah, that did 46,000 plus subscribers, and the food storage did 6,000 less. And yet, it has so much more listings in comparison to the fuel. So this is where things start to get a little bit awry. This is where things start to become a problem. With the fact that med storage has sold even more, and a ridiculous amount compared to what these two were doing at the time, I am very worried that this is going to lead to problems, and following that, it might lead to even stronger problems. Now, in theory, right, as I said, over the course of this summer, we very likely will be seeing a few more of these being accepted. And if I could just quickly go to the collection over here, scroll down, we've got all these large storages that are accepted 3 years ago, but over the past 3 years, Duck has tried numerous times to try and set up a small box extra collection. And with the random fuel storage getting accepted 2 weeks ago, he's basically gone through all the small storages that he did in order. He's resubmitted them, and lo and behold, they're being accepted. So basically, the point I'm trying to get across to is, don't be surprised if we potentially see the small comp storage being resubmitted over the course of this weekend. Of course, keep an eye on the workshop to be up to date with the likes of that. But following that, we'll very likely see cards. And then after that, based on what we've seen recently with all these comments that we see here, loads and loads and loads of people are offering ideas. They're sitting there saying, Duck, I want to see a berries box. I want to see a seeds box. I want to see a spare car parts box. I want to see a diving small box, with all your diving gear and whatnot. And he has acknowledged it. So if I quickly go over to here, look at the workshop page, look at the comments over here, what do we see? He's pretty much verified that, yeah, I will do a seeds, berries and cloth box in the future. So on the horizon, for sure, he's definitely going to keep producing these. But Duck is not the person who verifies or definitely sits there and says, yep, that's definitely getting accepted. It's down to Face Punch, and please acknowledge that. Face Punch could easily just turn around and say, well, okay then, we've had free sale. Yeah, let's stop now. They could just say, done, don't need any more now. And we don't know when that's going to happen. That is the awkward thing. So please acknowledge this. Whilst the momentum is strong, and if we keep seeing more being submitted and accepted, yes, in theory, they will be definitely above their Rustore price. Is it even looking worth it at the moment when we're starting to see things like this? And also, what happens when this all ends? Currently at the moment, the summer has started. We're getting a lot of people playing the game. Everything feels nice. Everything's looking good. Most skins right now, in general, they're going up in price, reaching new all-time high prices. We looked at this a little bit earlier. Whiteout Kilt, part of the Whiteout collection, one of the most in-demand collections. If we go take a look at this right now, it's currently sitting there at, well, that's a straggler. It was sitting at around $16 to $17 earlier. And as I scroll down over to here and look at its lifetime sales, we've essentially reached a new all-time high price. Look at that. That has reached a new all-time high price today. And if you go take a look at all the other Whiteout skins, they've essentially done the same thing. So there is a lot of momentum in general for Rust at the moment in terms of its skins. That's nice to see. But we have to question and worry, right? So what happens when this ends? I've made a big fuss about this as of recent, and let's just look at last year to get the point across. Last year, during the likes of June and July, we had an average player count above 90,000, and that's ridiculous. Very nice. We had some very good peak player counts. Let me just give you a quick comparison. The peak player count that we had yesterday easily beat last year's June Force Wipe. That did about 162,000 players last year. Yesterday, we did 175. But what happens after the summer? We go through the autumn, fall, seasonal dip. Yep. When it starts to become September, it drops off. What happens? The kids go back to school. Yes, over the course of the likes of June and July, kids across the world will start their summer vacation, and it'll end at some point around September. So look at this. In July, 95,000 average player count. September, 69,000. We lost about a third of the player count. And when everybody disappears and stops playing as much, less people play the game, less demand for skins, prices drop. And this is where, when we look at the likes of these neon storages, that's where we start to worry a lot, all right? Those storages are very, very, very likely going to get dumped. Those storages are going to be in abundance on the likes of the Steam market. So, we can see these constantly on the front page. But let's go actually look these up. Neon storage. I have to get this point across. The large boxes, they have very low quantities, all right? That is half the reason why they're so pricey. As time has gone on, less of them have become available to, acquire and whatnot. But these small boxes, they're new. And, well, a lot of them have been bought recently. And there's a lot of them to grab and, there's a ton of them in circulation. This is going to be a big problem when we hit September time. Whilst these already have, a good few hundred listings at the moment, what do you reckon it's going to look like around September, October, November time? I worry that we're very likely going to see easily up to 1,000 plus quantity on all of these neon storages, especially with the amount that we're currently seeing being bought at the moment. So if you're thinking, well, Hedge, you just said we're just going to keep the momentum up, everything's going to be all right. How many of these boxes do you intend to buy? And then also take into consideration, how many other people are buying these in excess? How many of these people who have bought these, right, are they buying 10? Are they buying 50? Are they going to buy 100? Are they going to buy 1,000? Don't be surprised. People do buy lots of these. So you have to question, how many do you even want to buy that you know you can sell? All right? And again, looking at the state of what we saw with the food storage, people are already competing with each other. Does it even seem viable, or better yet, I should say, does it even seem worth it to buy these from the Rust store, wait a week and try and sell them and only make maybe about 5 to 10 cents each? I'm not joking. So, yeah. And remember, you've got to sell them. Because if you don't sell them within the next 2 months, I'm saying within June and July, it's going to start becoming a bit of a problem. Prices are going to slowly start to go down. And once September hits, you're going to probably be very, very, very unfortunately in some trouble. Because there won't be so many people wanting to buy these. The value of it will drop. And I will not be surprised in the slightest if all the Neon small storages do go below their Rust store price. And this is a behaviour that has happened with the large boxes. In the past, with the first proper dip that these skins went through, many of them did go below their Rust store price. But as time has gone on, these have graciously risen up in price. Less quantity was available. It's been so much easier for that to retain their prices and gradually keep increasing. Yes, during bad times, these large boxes do still go down a lower price, but they usually rise back up again and then potentially rise up even further. So please take this all in and understand, whilst things are looking very good at the moment, and props to you, Duck, it's very nice to see, it's going to end at some point. And if you're not prepared for that, you're very likely to be screwed. That's the very straightforward answer. But I've informed you. You are knowledgeable of this now. So, again, maybe the smart thing to do is maybe just don't get involved. Because more and more people are getting involved now. And they think it's going to be perfectly fine. Let me tell you, that's a recipe for disaster. So be prepared and understand. And again, when we do our abnormal buy orders, which happen every Wednesday night / Thursday morning, depending where you are in the world, please consider looking at the likes of my YouTube to get a good understanding of what abnormals are. Basically, you're probably just better off doing a $1 buy order. Because don't be surprised if around October time these end up going down to around $1. Don't be surprised at all. Yes, they might have tons of buy orders on them, but how many of these do you reckon are going to get thrown on the Steam market? It will be a bit of an avalanche. So if you put a fairly high buy order on these, you also have to take into consideration and monitor your buy order, because you probably don't want to get dumped on either. There's a lot to be worried about, but you have been informed. Okay, so let's enjoy potentially the small comps and the cards, and potentially on the horizon, the berries, the seeds, the diving equipment, the spare car parts, and someone mentioned earlier, what about, having the likes of attachments as a box? That'd be cool. Ammo, that's fine, maybe we'll see. Duck's got plenty of ideas, trust me. And I'm pretty sure he will produce as many as he can, but Face Punch will stop at some point. So, be wary, be smarter, and maybe just stick with doing a buy order. You, in theory, could make some decent profit during the summer, but is it really worth that risk? And that's the straightforward answer. So the likelihood of where this is going to probably end up at by Thursday, I'm thinking that's going to probably go over 50,000 subscribers. And that is an absolutely absurd amount. And just to get the point across, subscribers is the absolute bare minimum sales. Subscribers are all of the individual people who have bought that skin. So as of now, 27,530 individual people have bought that skin. But we don't know how many. And I will not be surprised if there are a few people that maybe have bought 10 or 20 or 30 or 50 or 100 or even 1,000 of these, all right? There very likely will probably be 70 to 80,000 of these in circulation if this had 50,000 subscribers. Do not be surprised, okay? So you've been warned, okay? These boxes will be scrapped for wood in the end. Probably. I don't think it'll get that bad. I will give you this. In the further future, right? Will those small storages, will those small boxes be in the positive and look exactly like the large boxes? Probably. Wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't be surprised if they comfortably end up in the positive, but that'll probably take a year or two. And yeah, they will still go down during bad times. And as I said, the expected outcome is we are going to go through another very bad time during the likes of September, October, November. Last year, so many skins that were performing very nicely during the summer went down really bad during that period of time. But also, if you sell your skins in time and have a lot of money to work with, once we reach around October time, when most skins reach their all-time lowest point for that year, you got money, go buy all the skins that you want for super cheap. Wait it out. Once we reach around December, January time, and when loads of people jump in and play the game again, well, what does that mean? More people play the game, more demand for skins, prices improve again, you could sell and you make a lovely bit of profit. Easy! You understand the situation. And then a new year begins and the whole process starts all over again. We'll very likely have another dip during the likes of February, March and around April. And then things will improve up through the likes of May, June and July. With what we're currently going through right now. Do you understand? This is a routine thing that happens every single year. But more specifically, with the absurd amount of purchases for likes of these Neon Small Storages, it was a perfect thing to sit here and just discuss with all of you. Yes, in theory, all of these will be perfectly fine things that will be in a positive at some point, but they will very likely end up in a negative at some point as well. And when we start to get just a little bit bad, loads of people will panic sell. And then other people will panic sell. And then gradually, what you will see, much worse versions of this. Huge quantities, big overall quantities, and then yeah. So I've given you the warning, and that's that. So yeah, that is what the sales look like after just one day. Where do you reckon all of these are going to end up at by next Thursday? And what do you reckon we'll be seeing for the next Neon Storage? As I said, I wouldn't be surprised if it's comps or cards, but we'll see. So, thank you for listening to this ramble chat, and I do believe this will be a video. Can I pay to see hit? No, you're not going to see those. Not my toes. No. Alright, okay, maybe that's a good point to stop. Well, not really, but whatever.